Well, thank you very much, Mark, and thank you everybody for being here today. It's a very great day for us to be here. I especially want to thank my two colleagues here, Mike and Don, our MLAs from the Wood Buffalo Fort McMurray region, for being here. Two outstanding MLAs, and it's a real proud moment for me to have you two here with us as well. And of course, my good friend, Mayor Melissa Blake, who does an outstanding job representing the people in Wood Buffalo region, but also representing the people of Alberta. Melissa, it's great to have you here as well today. So it is my pleasure to announce today that our Premier, Alison Redford, and our government has approved the Lower Athabasca Regional Plan. It has been nearly 4 years since our government approved Alberta's land use framework. That set the stage for a monumental and extremely important undertaking. Together with Albertans, we will develop 7 regional land use plans to guide how our province will grow in a responsible, thoughtful, and sustainable way. The Lower Athabasca Regional Plan is the first of these regional plans in the province. This plan is about the priorities that we, as Albertans, value and share: economic growth that brings good jobs, vibrant communities, and a clean and healthy environment. It is a legally binding commitment that holds government accountable to Albertans. Alberta is in a period of strong growth, and we are committed to comprehensive land use plans that map out the strategic direction for each of Alberta's 7 unique regions. This plan was our first priority in meeting the high expectations of Albertans and Canadians that we will deliver enhanced environmental management and orderly growth in one of the most dynamic economic regions in the world. At the same time we achieve this milestone today, we take a significant step forward to the benefit of future generations. The Lower Athabasca Regional Plan, or LARP as we tend to call it, represents major progress in Alberta's ongoing efforts to enhance our environmental stewardship and resource development processes and practices. It ensures we achieve the balance, a strong and vibrant economy, and protection of our environment. Moving to implementation of the regional plan, which takes effect September 1st, advances a key priority of our government's leadership under Premier Redford. Regional planning, enhanced environmental monitoring and regulatory processes, and improved engagement with Albertans on property rights and supporting pieces of the integrated resource management system that we are building in Alberta. A more coordinated and integrated system that will provide the best economic, environmental, and social benefits for Albertans today and into the future. This integrated system will reaffirm our place as a global energy producer and a leader in environmental stewardship. Regional plans are designed to look into the future and set the stage for decades to come, a blueprint, if you will, for land and natural resource use. We arrive at this day after more than 3 years of talking to many stakeholders, groups, municipalities like Mayor Melissa and her colleagues, First Nations, indeed all interested in Albertans, about what they wanted to see in a regional plan for the oil sands area of our province. From the introduction of the land use framework, we heard widespread support from Albertans for greater provincial leadership on land use issues. In fact, more than 10,000 Albertans have provided valuable insight and thoughtful advice into land use planning in the province. Alberta's last period of hypergrowth clearly demonstrated the need for orderly, responsible, long-term land use planning. Now, in a new time of strong growth, the need to plan for the area that contains our main economic driver is abundantly clear. We have a solid endorsement. In fact, 7 out of 10 Albertans who participated in the consultations on the draft LARP supported the plan's strategic direction. This regional plan is important in so many fronts. It will enhance our environmental management, it addresses growth pressures, and it will help us support healthy and vibrant communities in the Lower Athabasca. Regional plans under the land use framework must strike a balance. We see this clearly in the Lower Athabasca, where dynamic economic growth which provides jobs and opportunities for Alberta families, must be balanced with the need to meet our environmental responsibilities and our social objectives. LARP takes steps to enhance our environmental management in a number of ways. One of the most substantial changes you'll see since the draft plan was released last August involves the Dillon River Conservation Area. It has been moved from a public land use zone to a wildland provincial park and increased its size by 27,245 hectares to a 191,544 hectares. In total, LARP sets aside more than 2 million hectares of boreal forest and Canadian shield. To put that into perspective, that's 3 times the size of Banff National Park, and is the largest single-day announcement of new conservation areas in Alberta since the establishment of Wood Buffalo National Park in the 1920s. This move supports Aboriginal traditional use and secures more habitat for woodland caribou. LARP also establishes environmental management frameworks that set limits and triggers to protect air and surface water quality, and a regional groundwater management framework with interim triggers. And it establishes a monitoring, evaluation, and reporting system for the region in conjunction with our federal colleagues. The approval of LARP commits us to complete other management frameworks, such as biodiversity and water quantity, that are vital to the sustainable development of the region's natural resources. We will involve all interested stakeholders in developing and finalizing these frameworks within the promised timelines. LARP will enhance recreation opportunities so that Albertans can easily enjoy more of the great outdoors. It establishes 9 new recreation areas, which means more camping and boating opportunities for Albertans, and commits to a regional trail system plan. It also commits to developing a plan for urban development around Fort McMurray, and I can tell you this is something Mayor Blake has advocated for very strongly for a very long time. LARP supports economic growth and certainty for industry, and it goes hand in hand with regulatory enhancement and provincial and federal environmental monitoring. A regional plan is a complex and challenging undertaking, and we certainly face complex and challenging issues, but opportunities as well in the lower Athabasca region. Greater national and international scrutiny of oil sands development demonstrates that proceeding first with the regional plan for the Northeast Alberta was the correct decision. We have taken the time we need to engage residents, stakeholders, and Aboriginal peoples, and to carefully consider their input in our decisions. We have a plan based on 3 rounds of public, stakeholder, municipal, and Aboriginal consultation. With the Lower Athabasca Regional Plan, we are investing in Alberta's long-term future, and we see good investment in our returns. This plan will strengthen our social license. It is an important pillar of Alberta's responsible energy development and environmental management. We are putting in place a world-leading land use plan regime unmatched by any jurisdiction. Our plan is bold, our plan is comprehensive, and our plan is coming at a time when Alberta is clearly poised to reaffirm itself as a dominant global energy supplier. But our work is far from done. We have 6 more regional plans on the way, starting with South Saskatchewan area. As you know, initial consultations have been completed in that area, and more opportunities for input are being readied for this fall after harvest season. Like the Lower Athabasca, the South Saskatchewan region has its own unique challenges and opportunities. And like the Lower Athabasca, it will be the ideas, the insight, and the passion of Albertans that will help us rise to those challenges and seize those opportunities. People arrive every day in Alberta looking for a good job and a better future. Thoughtful, responsible land use planning will mean vibrant and healthy communities for Albertans to live, work, and play. I certainly want to thank all of our stakeholders and everyone who took the time to provide input into this plan, and particularly all the members of the RAC committee who put a lot of work and dedication in. As well, I want to say a great big thank you to our dedicated staff, Morris and his team, and Bev, and all of those who have worked so hard over the years to make sure that this plan has become a reality today. And I do want to mention as well the dedication from the ministers that were here before me that worked through this planning as well for their outstanding leadership on regional planning. And finally, I want to say a great big thank you to Mayor Blake for being such a great advocate for our province in the region. Lots of challenges in your area, but lots of opportunity. It's an outstanding part of our province. I want to thank you for the dedication and the commitment you've had to work with us and the Regional Advisory Council. And I want to thank you for being here with me today, and welcome to you to say a few words as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that's where I begin, is by thanking you, Minister McQueen, your predecessors, as well as your council, or your colleagues in the cabinet, as well as your MLAs that are a part of this, because I think this is a day where I will be able to say that when we write our history, we wrote it well. This is a document that's going to form that history, and though we're talking in present terms, the community of Wood Buffalo is just one component of the Lower Athabasca. I was privileged to serve on the Regional Advisory Committee along with the community's representatives from Cold Lake and from Lac La Biche. I got to interface with a diverse group of stakeholders, and it was just a phenomenal experience for me, not only to be a part of providing some advice and thoughts in terms of the plan and where it went, but to interface with staff at the Government of Alberta, who in fact were doing many wonderful things. This plan, though, brings it all together. And so if you're a mayor of a community like mine that's experienced such rapid change, has the eyes of the world upon it constantly, when you're able to demonstrate that you're taking a vision that is solid and you're bringing forth implementation which requires action that you're committed to, I don't think that there's a better outcome from the process that I started on so many years back at this point. So again, in terms of the content that are in that plan, you hit my highlight. You talked about the Urban Development Reserve, but it's bigger than that. When I was on the RAC committee, in fact, gave birth to a child who's 3 years old now, and every time we went to a committee meeting in the early years, early phases, he was there with me. And every member in that committee was thinking to the future generations as much when we put it together. So to have a 50-year plan, I can tell you when he's 53, this should still be holding him in good stead. And so on behalf of youngsters that are not even upon us yet, the people who will be coming to the region for the economic opportunities, the fact that they'll be able to enjoy a sound environment with social balance, having opportunity to recreational amenities that don't exist currently or in very much a shortfall, those are the perspectives that I give the greatest thanks for. Thank you.